Hey, good morning. Mountain Creek Real Estate Group again. Morning walk, and wanted to go over some new topics. I think today I'm gonna expand on one of the first videos that we had. We talked a lot about some faith and some decisions, that kind of shaped my life and what I did in life. But I'm gonna kind of go into that a little bit, a little bit of faith, and more about why I chose to be a realtor, why I chose to be in real estate, why we chose to be in North Georgia, these kind of things. So let's go ahead and take a walk, and we'll talk about some of these things. All right, I'm gonna put these on. So I grew up in Vermont. And when I get out of high school, I went to University of Vermont, and I lasted a whole one semester. Did not take it serious at all. Didn't go to classes, just partied and did all that kind of stuff. Anyways, I was not invited back at the end of that semester. So it kind of shook me a little bit because, you figure you had your path kind of planned, even though you weren't really taking responsibility to it. So my dad was in the Army, and I looked into it and said, I'm just going to join the Army. And, kind of shocked my parents and shocked some of my friends and everything, but it was one of the best things I could have done. Got me out, got me in really good shape, and got me believing in myself, and, took me through the Army and taught me a lot of responsibility about, being on time. And go back over here so we have the sun right in the camera. So, Army overall was a great opportunity for me. And I got out way back in right before 9/11. My ETS date was February 2001. Fast forward a bunch of years, I went through my 20s and stuff, and didn't make good choices either during my 20s. Got to a point where cleaned my life up and decided, we'll go over my testimony. I'll definitely give that another time. But, got out of my 20s, met my wife. We get married. And at that point, I'm in the car business. Well, while I was in the Army, in 18 through 20-something, I was always kind of alone because my family was all in Vermont and I'm down in Georgia. And it just always felt like wherever I went, whenever we went somewhere, it was like you had buddies, battle buddies, people that you were friends with, but I never had a family, of my own, that kind of thing. So I just always craved that. So, fast forward a bunch of years later, and I met my wife, and at that point it's crazy. I just got into the car business when I met Sarah, and it was really good to me. I made good money for the first time in a long time. We got married. We were able to buy a house. We were able to, I was able to fix my credit at that point, which was horrendous because of student loan debt and stuff that I wasn't really paying attention to. Fixed all that stuff, able to buy a house, had a real nice house and everything. And then we started to have a family, and it was when my daughter was born. I'll remember, it was April 2014. I was in the car business. I was in a stressful position. I was an F&I. I was the finance manager. And it was just so stressful doing that. When she was born, I remember looking at her, and, I thought I knew what love was, before that. But it was always, I guess, selfish love. I wouldn't say selfish. It's just, I loved my wife, and I loved my parents, and I loved my brothers and sisters, but it was nothing like this. This was like that transcendent love, like when I saw my daughter for the first time and I was a dad, everything switched in me. It's like, wow, I was so overcome with emotion, and I was just so grateful for it. So at that point, it was like, this is what I want out of life. I want to be married, and I want to have kids. And my purpose, I found out at that point, was I want to be a dad. That was one of my greatest callings, that I wanted to be a dad. I just love that idea so much. So that was when I decided, the car business is very unforgiving with time. There's a lot of high divorce rate. There's all kinds of bad things. I mean, you're working 80 hours a week a lot of times. It's just not conducive to a family environment all the time. Not all people. I'm not saying all people, but where I was, it was not a good place to be, stuff like that. And I just found myself, I was very unhealthy. I was, eating crap food all the time, wasn't exercising, away from my family and stuff. So I started getting a real estate license, and it was at that moment, I went from making, X amount of dollars a year, where we're living so financially comfortable that we never had to worry about money, to, we go into real estate. And I mean, I literally, she was born in April of 2014. And, I was in real estate July. That's my license was active, and I was doing real estate. And we were very fortunate, God really took care of us then, that we were able to land some deals right away. We had some savings, so we were able to make it work right out of the gate. I had a great broker, that taught me a lot of things about real estate, took time with me, really. I'll tell you, and I'll give him a shout out, Ben Bloomley of Seaport Real Estate. When he first kind of started in his business back then, he was just gearing up to one of the better brokers. He just was amazing to work with, and I owe so much of what I am as a broker to him, whether he realizes it or not. How he shaped me on that. So we just got to a point where we looked at each other, me and Sarah, and it was just like, I was sick of coming home, leaving when my daughter was asleep, her sending videos of her to me during the day, and coming back and she was asleep, and seeing her once a week, pretty much. And it was okay when you're married and you're making the grind, you're making all the sacrifice, you can say you're sacrificing. At that point, I was just like, it's not worth it. So, this is one of my things. I've really come to realize over the, and we all say it, do what you love to do for a living, because then it's like you're not working a day in your life. Yeah, that's true. But also, do what allows you to do what you love in your life. I mean, what I love in my life is to spend time with my family, to be around them, to, be involved in their life, be their coach, be their, bring them to karate, do all this kind of stuff with them. My daughter to basketball, if she's going to basketball, or she has a thing at school. I can go to all of it. I go to everything. I'm always around. I'm able to make my own schedule, which is awesome. I can take off a month at a time if I want to. I just gotta, it's on me. I'm the one that has to deal with it. So do I make the most money that I possibly could make if I really dug into it? I mean, undoubtedly, no. I mean, I don't. I don't pour every ounce and every bit of my energy into real estate. I pour every ounce in, that I have into being a dad, a husband, a son, a brother. These are the things that are important to me, and these are the things we're going to take with us. We struggle sometimes, financially. I think everybody does, some way or somehow. But we've never not paid the bills. We've always had food on the table. We've always had clothes. We've always had things that we needed. And we got a beautiful house, and needs a lot, still work and everything, but we got beautiful land. We got beautiful family, and all this to say that I could put in the grind. I could have done whatever I wanted to do, where I made 10 times as much, well, maybe not 10 times, but let's say realistically 3 or 4 times what I make now, and been able to retire early. But at an expense to what? It's very true, and I want everybody to think about this. When you're sitting on your deathbed, and really what it is what are you going to want the most? Financial security is great. It leads to less worrying a lot of times, but it's that time. That's it. That's the great equalizer, is that time. And We want to spend more and more time with doing the things we love, whether it's with your family, whether it's fishing, whether it's out hunting, hiking, whatever it is that you love to do. That's what we're made by God to do, in a way that honors and brings glory to him. Is that we're not meant to work like this, I believe. Where the first time you introduce yourself to somebody, you're saying, this is what I do for a living. I mean, that's one of them, but there's other things that we're made to do and experience and take joy out of. I get the feeling once in a while, it's like, man, the kids are getting older, we're losing time with them and stuff. And, once in a while, but mainly, we've been so good at living in the moment the last 10 to 11 years that I'm able to soak up everything with these kids. I'm able to take back, time with my wife that I didn't think I would ever have. All this stuff we're enjoying all the time. And is it a sure thing that I'm going to be able to go out, retire, and have live the greatest lifestyle? No, not really. I mean, we're doing things, and I'll talk about that another time about how we're saving for retirement as an independent business owner. But I just got to rely on God. I gotta trust that He's going to put it in front of me. He's going to take care of us, and we're going to work it out the best way we can. But overall, that's just one thing I want to leave you guys with. And this is something I'm strongly passionate about. I do the work I need to do, and I'm committed to my clients make their experience the best it is. That's why I am successful at what I do. But I'm more committed to providing this lifestyle for me and my family. Freedom. That I can do what I need to do. And that I feel good at the end of the day, that I don't trade a project at work for my kid's soccer game or any of that stuff. And I can live with that. I figure by the time I'm in my 60s or 70s, I'm still going to be doing this real estate. I love it. I love doing it. So it's not going to be a burden on me. It's going to be the same thing. But, do I want to get to a point where we can retire? Yeah. Yeah, we'd like to get to that point. But we got things in the works for that. So that's about it for today. I just want to give my thoughts on that. All you people out there that are grinding, pushing, hear these commercials all the time. It's like, wake up early, go on 12-mile run, drink this energy drink, then go work and do this. Never let down. Keep going, keep grinding. I mean, that's so fake. That's nothing. That's the worst. That is the endless. I mean, you might as well be a hamster on a wheel just running in circles. I mean, you get the money just to spend it, just to make more money and spend it again, and then have numbers in a bank account. I mean, that's not the best end all and be all. Time, family, spending time with God. These are the things that emotionally and physically drive you. These are the things that are important to me. So with that, I'm gonna let you guys go. We'll talk more about it. We'll talk more about some other real estate stuff in the future. But until then, thanks for listening. I'll have all my contact information in the description below. Please like and subscribe. All the stuff. We'll eventually build this channel up so we can bring more content and do other fun things. So I'll talk to you later. God bless.